Welcome to this very casual video, I think indicated by the Aristocats shirt from Ross. Hi, my name is Natalie and I write books. I also read books, and also I just hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, so I thought it would be fun to do a little Q&A about writing, reading, and YouTube. So I asked on my community tab here on YouTube and over on my Instagram for any questions you had for me that you wanted me to answer. That's where all of these are coming from. Let's hit it. What got you into writing? I think I was always writing. I was always creating little stories, and when I was very young, I started doing plays, like writing scripts for plays and skits and acting them out with my friends. But I remember when I was in 4th grade, we had an author come visit our school. I can't for the life of me remember her name right now, but I will put her name in her books right here so that we can give her some love. Yeah, she came to our school and she talked about writing books and novels, and we read her book in our class. And I was like, hold up, you can write a whole book? And that's kind of where it started. So 4th grade is when I was starting to actually tell full-length novel-sized stories. And I kind of just never stopped from there. If you could collab with any other author on a book, who would it be? That's a really good question. And I saw this question ahead of time and I was like, I should definitely think about this. And I did not. Who would I want to collab with? I think one of the first ones that come to mind would be Scott Westerfeld, who wrote the Uglies series, the Leviathan series, a whole bunch more, just because I think he's a real master of sci-fi and dystopian for YA, which is a genre that I love. What genre, if any, wouldn't you write? So I always joke, when I'm introducing myself in live streams, that I write too many genres, and I would honestly continue to say that's true. My very first full-length novel was a mystery, contemporary suspense, but not creepy suspense, because I was, 13 or 14 when I wrote it. I've written urban fantasy, high fantasy, dystopian, sci-fi, romance, historical romance, and now I'm writing YA fantasy. So I've I've kind of run the gamut. But what wouldn't I write? I feel like there's not really anything necessarily that I'm I would never, maybe erotic, probably not on the docket for me, or horror, probably just because it's not something I read very much. But I love elements of every genre, so I kind of feel I don't want to say I would never write something, because maybe I would one day. I don't know. I would probably never write erotica. That's my final answer. Do you have any good tips for creating subplots? I think subplots should be intuitive. So if you're looking at the broad plot of your book, you should sit there and go, well, what is missing? What would I want as a reader if I was reading this book? So if it's a heist thriller type of thing, and you're looking at it going, this would just needs a little bit of romance in it. I'd love if there was something between the first two main characters. Or you could go, I really feel like this needs a horror element, something to make it a little bit more scary and high stakes. And then that's kind of where you can push your brain to subplots that might fit that, if that makes sense. So I think my tip for subplots is just let it be intuitive. Let it be what you want to write into the story that you think will enhance the main plot. I hope that makes sense. When uninspired, what's something or someone who always inspires you? This is a beautiful question, and I have a bit of a sappy answer, but it is AuthorTube, the other writers here on YouTube that always inspire me. If I'm having trouble writing that day, or just getting out of my own head and getting, my fingers on my keyboard to start typing, I will head to AuthorTube and I will watch my friends, whether they're my real friends or my parasocial relationship friends, write on the internet, talk about their struggles, and that always helps me get back into a good headspace to want to write again. And then also, if I don't do a video, I have some people I can text and say, I'm not feeling it right now, but I have to write. Any help? And they're always there for me. So I guess if this is a question of how to be inspired, you gotta find community. Any tips on beginning to write a novel? I don't have a helpful tip other than you just have to start. I think it's really easy to continue to plan and think it over and wait for the idea to be perfect, but There's no such thing as a perfect idea, and I've said it before on this channel and I'll say it again. No matter what you do, the first draft is not going to be the final draft. No matter what you do, the first draft is going to be at least a little bit wrong. So you just have to start. The only thing that a first draft has to do is exist. So start getting the words down. You don't even have to start at the beginning. I know a lot of people write chronologically, but a lot of other people will say, this is the scene that came to my brain first, so this is the scene I'm starting to write. You just have to start. And I know that's the stupidest, worst advice you've ever heard, but unfortunately it's true. You just have to start. What are your favorite tropes to write? I'm a sucker for enemies to lovers, always. Rivals to lovers, enemies to lovers, hate to love. I'm sorry, I know some people have strong feelings about it. My strong feelings about it is that I will always, always love it. It's the best trope, hands down. I have written it many times and will continue to write it many times because it's the best. So now we are jumping into the section about books. I love books, y'all. I will talk about them all day, every day if you want me to. My hope is to start putting even more book content on this channel, so stick with me if that's something you're interested in, but let's go to the questions. Who are your favorite authors? Right now, I'm really loving Lily Chu. I love Emily Henry. Duh. Sorry, some of these answers are gonna be basic. Leigh Bardugo, huge fan of Leigh Bardugo. I mentioned it before, I love Scott Westerfeld. He was my favorite when I was a teenager. He continues to be a favorite now. And presently, that is all the people I can think of. But if I think of more, I will list them here now. What is your all-time favorite book? Girl, I don't know. I think it's illegal to have just one favorite book as a writer. Books I always return to, The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood, Edenbrooke by Julianne Donaldson, I think her last name is. Again, I'm just gonna pop them here as I think of them. These are good books, y'all. Read them. And my brain is going to be so upset that I forgot to say them right now in this video, but they're listed here, so. What books have you read either in the past or recently that you think have influenced you as a writer? A really annoying answer to this is that everything I read influences me as a writer. Good books, bad books, all of it. I think it's a really good thing to read books that are also bad because you'll learn a lot about what you don't like to do. And it gets easy to find mistakes so that you can find them in your own writing too. Like specific books that have helped me, I learned a lot from Imposters by Scott Westerfeld. I'm sorry I keep mentioning his name, but I do love him. I think that taught me about how to do really fast, punchy chapters, and I realized like, oh, I need to do that. Specifically in a young adult space, it's really important to have cliffhangers at the end of everything so that they can't put the book down. There's no convenient time to put the book down. I think that's really important. I've really made a commitment this year to read more diversely, and I think that has also helped a lot. Very intentionally, like I did it on purpose, right? I think it helped me to try and broaden my worldview and to be more inclusive in my language when I am writing. So you know, I'm not having a cast of characters that all looks the same and thinks the same, has the same abilities. So I would say that's probably helped. What book would you want to see turned into a movie? Okay, I'm gonna twist this a little bit because I want to see this TV show. But do y'all remember The Selection by, I literally can't remember her name, but The Selection here. This book was supposed to be a TV series like several years ago, and they made the pilot and the cast was like all-star, chef's kiss, and they ended up not making it, and I'm devastated. How freaking good would a Selection TV show have been? Come on, like really? Like come on. Now we're at the last section of this video, which is questions about YouTube. How were you able to get 1,000 subscribers so quickly? The short answer is that it wasn't quick, it just looked like it was quick. I have been a consumer of YouTube for over a decade. And then I started my channel, I want to say my first video was in 2018, maybe? A while ago. And nothing came of it. It was more just for me, like a creative outlet. And then in 2019, at the end of 2019, I decided that I wanted to join the AuthorTube community, which was still pretty new at that time. I wanted to talk about my writing. And I have a few videos from that year, they're still on this channel. I'm not saying you should go watch them, but they are there. I filmed my NaNoWriMo experience November of 2019. I was super sick. Side note, I'm pretty sure I had COVID in 2019 before we all knew what it was, because I had doctors tell me very specifically, you have some type of flu, we have no idea what it is. And I had all the symptoms and I was sick for like a month. It was a whole thing. Anyway, that is neither here nor there. But I started posting more consistently when I was jobless for a period of time. This time last year, January, February, March of 2024. And that was when I really started to see things happening. I did not post consistently. I would not even call my videos good, but I think I was able to get to this point so quickly, seemingly quickly, because I really invested in the community part of it all. Obviously, I think it's important to make quality videos about things you're one, passionate about, but two, things people want to watch. And definitely I think I could have grown faster if I was consistent. But the reason why I saw a return on investment, I would say, is because I made it a point to interact with people on this platform who I really thought I could be friends with. So I commented on other people's videos in my tiny niche of AuthorTube, and I was, invested in their journeys, commented more than once, commented lots of times before anyone gave me the time of day. A lot of times shared my own experiences. If they were struggling with something in their writing, if I could, would commiserate, would say my experience, give my advice, and never at any point was I like, come check out my channel. But they naturally did and started commenting on my videos, and I think the algorithm liked that even though my views were quite small, I had a high engagement rate. People were talking in the comments and engaging and having a real conversation with me, and I think that helped a whole lot. And from there, it was slow but steady growth. I would say it was like a growth of like 30 or 40 subscribers a month, something like that. And then I was lucky enough to have a video go viral for me. And it was a video about what I thought it was important for people who wanted to write books to know, things that I had learned over the very many years that I have been at this. And it did really well. I didn't necessarily try anything new with that. I just sat down and chatted and explained who I was and shared some tools of the trade, I guess, and it resonated with people. And from there, I got a lot more subscribers. And I also began to do live streams. Now, live streams isn't something that I think is for every niche, but it's definitely something great for AuthorTube. And I started to go on some of my friends' channels and just do live writing and talking sprints with them, and started to host some of my own. And that was really what pushed me over the edge and got me to the 1,000 and now plus mark. So I don't know if that's any how-to, but that is what I did. I prioritized community first and I went from there. What is the best way to grow on YouTube as an introvert? Homie, I don't know. I don't know. I am definitely an extreme introvert. I know it doesn't necessarily seem like it. I don't really project that on the internet, but yeah, not shy, but yes, an introvert. And this is a high energy activity, talking to you and filming videos and even editing videos sometimes. So what you don't see is that after I film these, I don't speak for the rest of the day. My husband often is like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, I'm very tired. I filmed a YouTube video." I guess my best advice for growing on YouTube as an introvert is just make videos that fill your soul, because you should enjoy doing this first. If you're not enjoying it, I think it's pretty obvious. I think there's some videos where I am not having a great time because I didn't want to film, and I think you can tell. I mean, like, I'm not challenging you to go back and look at those videos, but I think you can tell. So if you're not having a good time, I don't think you're gonna grow. Your personality has to shine through. Your joy of being here and talking with the people who are watching, I think that's a really important element that you need to consider. So attempt to film at the times of day when you are at your most energetic. Talk or do things that make you happy and excited to be alive and to share with other people. And don't push it if it's not happening. which unfortunately is why I'm not super consistent posting YouTube videos, because I protect my energy above everything else. And sometimes my little introverted soul doesn't want to film. And is that something I need to get over? Yeah. But right now, this is the advice I have for you. What is your favorite YouTube tool? I don't know if there's like a one answer for this. There are some things that I use that I like. Canva, I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. That's where I make thumbnails, it's where I make graphics. Brain FM is kind of like Spotify, but like scientifically hacked to make your brain hit optimum levels of motivation and focus. You can do your own research on whether you think it's real or not. I have found that it helps me. I have an affiliate link if you're interested in joining. It's down below. Another thing that's important is blue light blocking glasses. You're staring at your phone and or computer screen a lot when you're editing, when you're filming, and it's best if you protect your eyes. I also use like StreamYard to do live streams that connect straight to YouTube. And right now that's all I can think of, but it does lead into the next question, which is what video editing software do you use? I just use iMovie because it was free on my Mac, and I am not at a point in my life where I want to invest a lot of money in something that I will have to learn how to use. One day that will be different, but today is not that day. iMovie is incredibly easy to do because it has no bells or whistles. Does that suck? Yes. But does it make it easy? Yes. What is your advice for new YouTubers? Love what you do. Connect with your community. Figure out why you're doing this. I genuinely started this AuthorTube channel to connect with people so that I wouldn't feel alone in this writing process, which a lot of times can feel like a very lonely journey. So I think connect to your why, know why you're doing this, and prioritize the most important aspects to you. For me, at this moment in time, consistency is not what's the most important thing to me. It still is my community. It's still finding joy in filming and not filming when I don't feel like it. And that's what works for me. And right now, that is what I am focusing on. And that's my advice to you. I think you need to figure out what's important to you and stick with it. Your priorities might change. I think eventually my priorities will change and I will want to be consistent, but you know, I'm not gonna force it if I'm not feeling it. So that's my Q&A. Thank you for hanging out with me today. It means a whole lot to me that you are all here. If you are not subscribed and you think I'm not the most annoying person in the world, I would love it if you hit the subscribe button. I talk about writing, reading, and apparently now YouTube. If you like YouTube content, let me know, because I like talking about it, but I don't want to bore anybody. So you let me know. Also like this video on your way out, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.